views of Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk. We can go live back to Anfield now and get even more from the man who captained Liverpool today, James Milner. Good to see you, James. Thanks for joining us. Well done. How sweet a win, given the season so far, was that over the champions?
Yeah, it was a big win. I think obviously we haven't started the season like we'd like. You know, plenty of injuries, loss of confidence, things like that. And you know, I think to put in a performance like that against a team as good as they are was important and should give us a huge lift into this, you know, this busy period we have coming up now until the World Cup break.
And given City were 21 unbeaten, 33 goals, what did you do particularly well as a team today to get that result, do you feel?
I thought we worked together very well, closed the gaps, you know, that they occupy the spaces really well, so it's tough to, you've got to try close the middle, and then when you do that they have the runners on the outside, so they overload you. But I thought, you know, the centre-halves were outstanding, some fantastic defending. You know, the boys at the front worked so hard. You saw so many times Bobby and Jots coming back and winning it from behind. You know, the level of the boys coming on, the intensity and the will to defend altogether was outstanding.
Millie, it's Michael Owen here. We were quite surprised in the studio that Man City came and played a back three against you. Did that surprise you, and did you do anything to counter that at half-time?
You know, you never know. Obviously, with City, they can play so many ways. They've got a lot of good players, and you know, I think they start with a certain system, but then they can play different ways with and without the ball, and it's always changing. So we have to, you know, defend with our formation, and you know, we don't always play a set formation as well. We're trying to be in between two players and occupy the gaps and play against the ball and show them one way. So, you know, at times it's like a game of chess. Obviously, it's going to be like that when you've got two of the best managers in the world going up against each other, and you know, the quality of players that each team have, they can play many different ways.
James, it's Shay Given here. I just wanted to ask you about, obviously, before the game we spoke about, obviously, I know you don't want to know this, but 36 years of age, up against Phil Foden in his prime, just signed a contract this week, playing really some great stuff. Were you worried about that situation? I know right back's not your favourite position, but today I said after the game, before you even got the ears on, I thought James Milner's one of the best players today, so I wasn't speaking out of turn. What a great game you had personally.
I'm sure you were sticking up for me, Shay.
I was.
I've no doubt about that. No, I mean, obviously my role now is to do what the team needs at any given time, and obviously it can be a few positions, and in the end finished at centre half or right of a back three. So, you know, I'm there to do what's needed, and it's never going to be easy no matter what position you play against Man City. Obviously they're a good team, but you know, it was a fantastic game to be involved in. I think you heard the atmosphere in the ground. The atmosphere was unbelievable. These are the games you want to play in, and it's nice to contribute to a big win against a team as good as City.
And given the high standards you've all set each other, a lot has been said about Mo Salah this year, but what a week he's had. And I guess that's no surprise in the dressing room to respond in the two big games this week the way he has.
No, he does it time and time again, and you know, sometimes I think, you know, I probably should criticise him more, because any time he gets any criticism he'll score. You know, he responds so well, and you know, obviously he had the one before this as well, so it shows his mentality to be as cool as that and slot that. You know, he's an unbelievable player. He's fantastic, and you know, he keeps producing when it's needed. And
in this fixture as well, he's just something of a thorn in City's side.
Yeah, and Ali, another assist as well. You know, he's so good as a goalkeeper and doing the things that, you know, goalkeepers should do. But you know, with his feet as well, he helps us build up. He sets the tone and makes great decisions like that one. Not scared to go long and have the accuracy to find him. Obviously, great strength from Mo as well. But you know, it's not the first time Ali's done that, and it's a great weapon to have.
Indeed, brilliant, very well done, and we really appreciate you joining us.
Cheers, thank you.
James Milner, live for you, the Liverpool captain at Anfield. We can go back there now. Here are the thoughts of his manager, Jurgen Klopp.
That result and that performance?
Result perfect. Performance really, really good in an incredibly intense game. We defended on an incredible high level for 99 minutes nearly, and had really good football moments where we scored one goal, could have scored more, should have scored probably second and a third, but they had their moments as well. But especially in the box, we were really what's the name? Yeah, we just did extremely well there. We won nearly all the duels. I think it was one free header from Haaland in the first half. Apart from that, we were really around, tried to block the crosses in the first place, defended the 6-yard box extremely well when they went through the touch line. So all the things you have to do, and so yeah, absolutely great.
Was it all about focus from your players as well? Achieving that intensity, as you said, winning the duels as well, trying to snuff out any fires anywhere at any point?
It's always about that, actually, but it's maybe, I'm not sure if it's always possible, but it should be more often possible. Yeah, this was for us obviously big today. We absolutely know how strong the opponent is, and we showed up today, and that's all we wanted to do.
What do you think was the difference in terms of you actually getting just the one goal to beat them? What separated the two sides? Was it as simple as that?
First and foremost, I think City didn't have these counter-attacks, these situations. We had them 3 times. Yes, after 1-0 it might be was then Darwin going through, but before that Mo was already alone on his way. And so the situation around the goal is just a sensational awareness of Ali, and then outstanding from Mo against, I think, was Cancelo, if I'm right, used his body brilliantly, no foul, and then he's in a 1-1 situation with the goalie, and he might miss one, but he will not miss two in a similar situation. So just outstandingly well done. But it was in a lot of other moments. I know the score, the goals decide the game, but there were so many good football moments against, how I say, the best team in the world, and it's really tricky to close all these gaps. But the boys did that in an outstanding manner.
It's even better when you've got players missing, patched up defence to show that amount of heart as well.
Yeah, missing. We miss now the next one with Diogo. That's it.
How bad is it?
I don't know. He felt a real pain in it. Sorry in that moment, but no idea how bad it is. But when Diogo stays down, it's not good.
What can you tell us about your red card?
Yeah, in the end, probably deserved. But the situation, you cannot not whistle that situation. After all the things that happened on the pitch, I don't know what Mo Salah has to do to get a free kick. So many situations. Pep and I agreed on the touchline. We didn't understand the challenges which were allowed and all these kind of things. Why would you do it? Both sides. Whistle it. Let's play football. The game would not be a little bit worse. Not a little bit worse. But we have to take that. We are on the weak side of it. We have no power at all. We just stand there. And in this moment, something switched off. I'm not proud of that. But when I saw, it's the clearest foul I ever saw in front of the linesman. And he says, play on. And when I look in your face, you are not bothered about that. That's what I don't understand, that not other people talk about it. How can you let this situation go? It's clear he pulls him down. And that's the difference. You are here, you just watch a game, and we are involved. And that sometimes we got a bit carried away, and that's what happened to me in this moment. By the way, first half, the goal, he only watched, on VAR, he only watched how Haaland pulled Fabinho down, but Ali has the hand on the ball. In the next situation, if he doesn't with that, it's a goal. Unbelievable. But it was a clear foul that Ali has one hand on the ball. So that's the life we live.
No, I hear what you say. As you say, I'm a neutral. You're frustrated, and by your own admission, you said I went over the top, or it was not. What you did was not correct. So that's fair enough. Exactly fair enough what you say there. Mm. So what I did want to ask you as well, though, can you clear one thing up for us? Mo Salah, was he supposed to be coming off, or was there an error in the numbers that was being handed in? He didn't seem too sure when we asked him afterwards, when the substitutions were being made.
In the first place, when we changed.
When you made the triple sub, yeah.
No, he was not supposed to be off. I wanted to talk to him because his role changed, but I didn't know that the number showed up. That was a mistake. That was no, it didn't have to show. Was not a plan.
Okay. Lastly, what does this give you today? This victory today?
3 points.
More than that?
No, I'm not. I don't know. So we have to recover. When is it? Wednesday. West Ham is coming here, so it will be the next tough one. We have to sort our bones and then to go again, and that's what we will do. But it was really good. It was the best what could have happened today, to be honest. But not more.
Thank you. What sort of result is that, and what did it take to get it?
Takes a lot. Good to get 3 points. I think it was always going to be very intense. That's what's always been happening over the last years, and it was nothing different today. Obviously, first half I think we played quite well. Didn't give much away. I don't think we created too much either. But second half we had to defend a bit more, and we had a chance on the break to even score more. But we won, and that's the most important.
Be honest, how intense was it? It looked like blood and thunder out there.
It is. For both sides. It's a lot of running, a lot of communication, and yeah, it was who wanted more, and obviously I think today we showed a lot of fight.
Do you go along with that, Mo? Was a lot of your performance today about guts and about character, especially the situation you're in against a side that good?
Well, this side is always hard for us also to play home or away because they always dominate the game. They try to keep the ball as long as they can. But I think the most important thing for us, and we have to take from there just 3 points, and we need to carry on because our position in the league is not the best. So it's just one game and just need to carry on.
You say it's just one game. Isn't it more than that, though? To be the first team to beat Manchester City this season, a big 3 points against them. Surely it's more than that.
Hopefully give us more confidence, so we should just start winning games because it's like the last few weeks, as you saw, we were not in our best. So we started already from last game, and this game as well we won. So we just need to carry on.
You got the goal. We started to think it wasn't going to come because you had a couple of chances just before. Made a great save, the keeper, but then you did it.
Well, I'm not worried when there's a chances, to be fair. Like, if I miss, it's fine. I'm just like, in my mind, like, it's going to come again. I start to worry more when there's no chances for me. But today we created chances. You can see when I missed the first one, I was like calm because I knew that the second one is going to come. So, yeah, I managed to score the second one and we won the game.
Clear up one thing. Was it an error? Because you thought you were going off, and then did you say to Jurgen Klopp, I'm not going off, or did he say, oh no, you're not supposed to be going off, that's a mistake?
I don't know, it's just in my head, it was too many things in that time. I'm just trying to stay focused and just like, okay, just try to put it in the net because the first one I missed, but yeah, I was lucky.
Virgil, Mo did the business at the other end, but how much did you literally, as a team, have to defend for your lives today?
That's what you have to do every game, and I think obviously today if you drop off a slight percentage, then obviously they will punish you, and I think we did very well, and it was important to get the clean sheet and move on. So we'll focus now on West Ham.
Big credit to you as well. You sensed the danger. Erling Haaland stooping to put the ball in the back of that. You just managed to get back and head it over.
Yeah, that's what defenders have to do apparently. So I tried it and I was there, and good that I was there. So yeah, carry on.
Do you feel you grew into the game? There were moments, the little moments to start off with. You had one, Harvey had one as well in the first half that gave you the confidence. Also, how big a factor was the crowd today?
It is. Always like that, and obviously when certain moments happen in the game, it put fuel to the fire a little bit, and in a positive way for us. And you know, I think it started with the hard work we put on the pitch, and that's the minimum what's expected here at this beautiful football club, and we showed that, and that's the energy what we had back today was definitely needed in order to push us forward and, you know, keep a hold of the 1-0 advantage, and they played a big part, and that's what we need for the rest of the season, especially when we had a difficult start of the season.
When the manager was asked last week, he said we're out of the title race. That doesn't necessarily put you right back in it, but is that a major step towards it?
No, we're still far away from that. We just need to focus in each game and just take one game in time. We don't have to think about the title at the moment. Of course, we always. Personal, I love to play always for the title. It's in my head. We're gonna fight for it, but just like we need to focus more and take one game at a time. We don't have to feel more pressure that there is a still gap between us and the first and the second as well. So, of course, we're going to play for the title. As the players, you can see the team, unbelievable, the club. Everybody here should be in a better position than where we are now. The players are excited to win again, and I think that gives us a good push for the next games.
Fabulous.
Well, he's not proud of the red card, but he is proud of the performance. He called it a perfect performance, Rafael. I just wonder, as a manager, I was going to say when you switch off, but you never switch off, you managers. When you go home and have a glass of wine, when you've put a plan together like he has and like you've done many times, and it comes off, what does it feel? What's that satisfaction feeling like in a big game like that?
Yeah, you are really proud of not just you, all the staff around you, because it's not the manager just making one decision. It's a lot of people working together, analysing. So you have the analysis before the game, and after you have meetings with your staff, your assistant, everyone there, the goalkeeping coach, whatever.
Mm-hmm. They're not that important, Rafa.
Yeah, you talk about that. No, the counter-attack.
Don't forget us. Well, the set-piece coach.
Oh, yeah. Listen, with the goalkeeper at the end, he made the difference.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, you have to talk with everyone, and after you make the decisions, and then you are really proud because you can see the commitment of the players, and they believe when they think, okay, he's right, then we follow him.
He's cleared up the fact that Mo Salah was never coming off 3.5 minutes before he scored, but he did call him over. He did want a word with him. Wonder whatever he said, because it resulted 3.5 minutes later in the goal.
Yeah, it felt like he was moving him into a more central area, in behind Nunez when he was coming on, because as we know, Mo Salah was playing wide. And you can see here he's saying, I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. And then Mo Salah ends up pointing to the number and said, I thought I was coming off. So I actually believe that miscommunication, and I think, as I say, he was putting him more in a central area, and it worked. I mean, Liverpool in the second half had a fair few chances breaking, maybe counter-attack, but they looked powerful when they were breaking out, and Mo Salah was on the end of two of them, and obviously made one count.
Yeah, and James Milner mentioned there the role that Alisson played. It was very direct, quick thinking.
Yeah, I think they know he's very good, starting a counter-attack, and then Salah also, he knew, so it was very clear. You have to have the vision, and you have to have the technique to do it. That is not easy.
The execution, as you say, Rafa, it's one thing seeing it, but it's pulling it off, and it's probably a poor ball from De Bruyne into the box, but straight away Mo Salah's on his bike, and Alisson can pick that ball out. I mean, it's a clear mistake from Cancelo, and you can see in the shots after, he's actually apologising to the Man City fans. He has to do better as a defender there. But Mo Salah, what a finish.
Yeah, I love the way, and we'll probably see it later on, I love the way when the ball actually floats over Mo Salah's head, he's already on his bike thinking, that's the goalkeeper's that, I'm gonna have a counter-attack. And then this little part, said to people so often, this little fella is deceptively strong. He is strong as an ox. Shrugs off Cancelo, and then when he gets into this position, not easy at all. Often you've got to lift it in those one-on-one situations. And he was unlucky with the first one, but he wasn't going to make. And that's a mark of a goal scorer. Some people shrink. They miss a chance and they shrink. They don't want to be there anymore. They don't want that pressure. They don't want the groans if they miss again. But some people think, OK, I've missed one. Give me another one. I'll rectify it. And Mo Salah's one of those players.
Yeah, he said himself, Rafa, when he had that chance and didn't score, that he doesn't mind, does he? As long as he's in there, in that opportunity.
I have been managing teams for a while. Always I said, you have to win, and then all this kind of thing. He said something in the interview. We are too far away from the first position, and I have to say, and the second. But his first thought was the first position. He's thinking about to win the title. It's not just to win one game or whatever.
Brilliant. That was going in as well, wasn't it? It was actually a great save. Give him a lot of credit there, Ederson. But as I say, I think when you lift it in that position, then you've got a little bit better chance of scoring, and he certainly rectified it by lifting it next time.
And the counter-attack was a theme you noticed throughout that second half in particular.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier about it. I think Manchester City had a lot of the possession, and I think it was Elliott in the main that was starting to get in positions that actually started the counter-attack off. As we see here, he could have played a direct one to Mo Salah, but that extra little pass bought a little bit more time. Manchester City committed themselves. I think he could have actually passed here. I'm not saying I would have, but I'm saying he could have.
That was the next question.
Definitely not.
And again, look at Elliott, just on the back of his man all the time, and then spots this beautiful little ball, lovely gap in the Man City defence there to set off another attack. So Liverpool did burst forward a few times, and on this third clip, in fact, that was just the ball of the game, I thought. Not easy. And he dinks it to the back post with the outside of his foot. And then again, we highlight Elliott. And he's the man that gets on the back post in this clip.
Yeah, I think it's important to have this belief that you got the second half, especially the second half. The first half, they didn't have too many chances like that. But City was a little bit weak in defence because they were playing three at the back and was sometimes 1v1, 2 against 2, things like that. But then you have to have the belief, the idea that when you regain the ball, you start running, someone will be behind the defenders, and someone has to pass the ball.
That's the little bit I was referring to, Steve. He was on his bike before anyone else. I think centre forwards just sniff a chance out, and he could, even when you're out of possession, even when the ball's going into your box, he's still thinking of goal. I mean, it's an incredible mindset to have. But you can see, as soon as it floats over his head, he looks at it and thinks, that's going into Alisson's hands, that. And he was set off, and everybody else just watching the play. But no, he's thinking goal.
Talking of men who only thought of goals, Robbie Fowler's waiting to talk to us at Anfield. We've been keeping him cold. Good to see. He's got a big smile on his face after that result. What was it like being in the stadium, the atmosphere of that, Rob?
Steve, I've always got a big smile on my face, you know that. I think it was probably one of Liverpool's better performances of the year. I think each to a man, the energy and the drive and the commitment they all had was brilliant. I think they looked a little bit more solid. He stopped City, playing their normal game. Probably 10-15 minutes. They were, in cruise control in the second half, but Liverpool, I think, were very, very good and good value for that win.
Now, I know you, Michael, love a record, and they've seen him tumbling week by week. Mo Salah has gone past Steven Gerrard today in Premier League terms, 121. He's 7 behind you, Rob. I know you know.
You're going. I know
you don't
going.
mean me to tell you that, do you?
Steve, I think I was the only Liverpool fan in the world who was wanting them gone in the summer. I think it's inevitable that he's going to do it. And look, I think he's a wonderful player. And look, I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with my goals. And someone's going to beat it someday. And I'll have to live with that.
Yeah, what a week he's had. Just to warm you up, we've got the man who brought you back to Liverpool with us in the studio.
How you doing, boss?
Hello, how are you?
Good,
we had a meeting the other day. We were talking about football, so it was very interesting.
Always.
Yeah, because just tell the Liverpool fans around the world. I mean, he was part of one of your most special days, wasn't he?
Who, the gaffer? Oh yeah, absolutely. He brought me home, didn't he? I think when it sounds silly this, but Liverpool were maybe going through a little bit of a tough period. And I get a phone call from yours truly, who's probably one of the best phone calls I've ever had. I think Rafa's been documented on many times saying that he's probably never seen a player as proud to sign a contract, and I think he was spot on.
Robbie, I will tell you something that I was learning this day with my English. When you say, "Oh, I am over the moon," because I didn't know the expression, and he said, "Oh, I am over the moon," so I was learning that from him.
Rafa, I love a cliche. You should have played me more though.
Let it go, Robbie, let it go.
Let it go.
We can talk about that after, don't you worry.
Now, you love a Spanish manager because before the game we saw you deep in conversation with Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Pep. I think people give him a little bit of stick, saying, "Oh, he's one of the managers who spends a lot of money." Quite rightly, he's up there with the best in the world. I think he's probably one of the best I've ever seen. In all fairness, I think.
What was he doing here? Telling you about the three at the back they were playing, or?
I think we were talking about Ireland. In all honesty, there was movement and the technical ability that he's got. So I do like him. I've met him a few times, and obviously Rafa there. We talk football quite a lot. So. It seems that he likes me. I'm happy with that.
Now, his side were 21 unbeaten, top scorers in the land. What does it do for Liverpool to get one over a team like that today?
Well, it gives them a little bit of a lift. That gives them a little bit of confidence to show that they can do it. I think what we've got to remember is Liverpool were probably 2 games away from being probably one of the best club sides we've ever seen. In last year, and then all of a sudden, everyone's against them. But they knew coming into this game they had to put in a good performance. They had to show everyone what they were capable of. I know there's been a few times where people have mentioned how much the fans helped them. That was really, really evident. And Liverpool, we've always said about they probably lack something this year, but they are capable of going on a run and producing a string of good results and wins. And hopefully now this will be the catalyst for them, and they can start climbing up that table a bit further.
Robbie, top stuff. While we can still say it, Liverpool's all-time record goal scorer in the Premier League.
Thank you.
Still 7 clear. Robbie Fowler live for us at Anfield, but Mo Salah is charging him down. When we come back, we will get the other side.
What do you make of the whole game?
A real tight game. Good atmosphere as always, as usual. So we make a mistake and we lost the game. So tight game, anything could happen.
What was the mistake? On the halfway line on Mo, or the fact that there was only one player back there?
Well, we didn't follow. We know that Kevin didn't follow the movement from Salah being last man, and after we lost the duel. Yeah, definitely.
What are your thoughts on the disallowed goal? Because you looked very angry at the time.
Well, when the referee decided before the game, go to the Jurgen Klopp and my assistant coach and say, here is play on, play on. I'm not going to whistle any faults. And it was 1,000 millions that his fault is not fault, fault is not fault. And say play on, play on, play on. After we score a goal, it's not play on. So, okay. If he decides, oh no, every action I'm going to whistle, every action I'm going to whistle. But okay, he decided to do it, okay, we challenge, they shout, we have to shout more. They run, we have to run more. But after we score a goal, they disallowed it. So this is Anfield.
Is it the lack of consistency that's bothering you?
No. I'm asking about this action. In this action.
When you look at the game itself, do you think you had enough chances to have scored?
We had, yeah. We had chances. It's a fantastic team, it's Liverpool, so we cannot deny it. It's a stadium, but we had enough chances, yeah.
In terms of the game itself, at half-time, I heard you saying to your players, win the duels, win the duels. That was key. Do you feel you won enough duels, second half particularly?
All the game, yeah. We were brave. We played the game how we should play, and I don't have complaints or regrets the way we have done it, and the chances that we had, maybe not clear ones, but enough ones to do it. They have in the transitions, as always they do, except the first 5-10 minutes. That always, when they start in these stadiums, always is tough. But we make a good process to allow not disallow the much transition. Sometimes happen. So in general, the back three was brilliant, and the game was good. We make a mistake, and after, of course, when it's open and the stadium come up strong, so it was more difficult.
How big a factor do you think the stadium was and the crowd today?
After the goal was, Anfield. Yeah, definitely. Before it was okay.
Thanks, Pep.
You're very welcome.
Well, he says this is Anfield. Let's get to the disallowed goal. What was your reading of it?
Yeah, it probably was. I think it was a foul on Fabinho. I thought it might even been a foul on the goalkeeper as well. But I was talking off air, Steve, how far do you go back in a movement to disallow the goal, you know? And of course at Anfield, the big decisions.
Well, they're saying that's the same phase, Joe.
I thought that they were looking at this as well, because I thought Alisson had both hands on the ball. I thought they were giving a foul against that, but then when you see it back on the screen, I think he's given the foul for Fabinho, you know, that pull on Fabinho. Obviously where the screen is as well, right in the middle of Liverpool fans, is not ideal either, because you can imagine what they're saying to the referee when he's looking at the screen. But I think you can clearly see here he pulls back Fabinho's top, like, so I think it's a foul.
Rafa?
Yeah, I think one of my concerns as a manager is that then when you allow the game carry on, could be 1 minute extra, and then you have maybe an injury, or you have a red card, or you have a goal disallowed.
And that's Pep's point, isn't it?
So then everything will change. It's not easy to make a decision because the game was very fast, but it's true, for me it was a foul, and that's it. And after, everything that can happen after that is a risk. So for everyone, so for players, for the fans, for everyone. So I think they have to adjust that, because if not, it will be a problem in the future.
Michael?
Yeah, I think once the referee's seen it and played on, then unless something really drastic happens, unless, you know, the hands of Alisson was on the ball or whatever, that actual moment of them scoring, then going back, you know, 10 seconds earlier for a tiny tug, I do think it was a foul, don't get me wrong, but going back that far, I think once he's let play go on, because otherwise you just keep going back and back and back, and I don't know, it's probably, being a neutral, I would say I think it's pretty hard.
I think it's the question then, who's reffing the game? Is it the VAR, or is Michael makes a great point there? The referee's seen it, thought maybe it's not enough to give a free kick. The goal scores on the back of that, and then the VAR guys go, so hang on, we'll have a look at this. So is the ref refereeing, or is the guy in the VAR wagging down?
Hang on, 20 seconds ago you thought it was the right decision.
Well, I thought it was a foul, but what I'm saying is the referee's seen it live and he thought there's not enough to give a foul.
Right.
Everyone thinks it's a foul, and it is a foul, but it's just whether it's sort of big enough foul in the right area and everything else, just to keep going back and try. Because I just feel as every time that a goal is scored, then we're trying to nitpick and try to find a reason to disallow it. That's my point.
Okay.
We're trying to disallow goals all the time. Whereas the referee's seen that, okay, it's a foul, but you didn't give it. So is it bad enough to keep going back? I don't think so.
Okay, talking to goals, a man who you all know well, who's normally sitting alongside us here, has been watching at a different vantage point today. The Premier League's all-time record goal scorer, Alan Shearer, is stateside in Philadelphia at the Premier League Fan Fest. He always is, schmoozing with the most important people around. How's it been in Philadelphia, Alan?
They're all asking after you, Steve. Don't worry, they haven't forgotten you. It's been fantastic over here. Their passion and enthusiasm to see Premier League football is off the scale. I mean, I've been very fortunate enough to go to 5 of these events in Washington and LA, Austin, and others. But this one this weekend in Philadelphia has just been amazing. They love their Premier League football, and there was around about 7,000 or 8,000 here yesterday, and there's 8,000 or 9,000 that have been here today, and it's been a terrific atmosphere. It really has.
And they saw a terrific game, particularly in that second half at Anfield. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was a cracking game. Two teams going toe-to-toe against each other. Two really, really exceptional managers, and of course that crowd at Anfield made it all the more special. It could have gone either way. Man City did have chances. Not many times we've said it this season, but Haaland could have had, perhaps should have had one or two before Liverpool got their goal. It was a great game, particularly that second half. And just listening to the guys there, and that's what I've been sending a couple of texts also. Really the goal. I mean, the referee let so much go, which I thought was a good thing, because there's two sides going in a great battle, going head to head against each other, and you should be allowed to tackle. You are going to get one or two tackles that go in. But I thought the referee let so much go, right up until he was told that, no, you need to go and have a look at the screen here, because he'd sort of missed that one. Was it enough to give the foul? Possibly just, but I thought there were so many other fouls that he could have given and didn't during that game as well.
I know what your interpretation would have been if you were in Erling Haaland's situation anyway. What do you think it'll do for Liverpool in this season?
Well, that was a big question. Were Liverpool going to sit down and be beaten off Manchester City today, or were they going to come out all guns blazing and flying and full of confidence after their win in midweek? And they had to prove a point today. Their players had to prove a point in front of their crowd, and I think they've done that today. So that should get their season back on track.